Welcome to session 7. We're going to talk about how to build trust using small talk. This is one of those challenging sessions. So we're going to have it in 2 parts, and today is part 1. Do you recall a situation where you were last very inconvenient?
Too many. Um, I'll pick one I've been working with a lot of people, obviously, over the years, and I recall pretty recently, we were working on this project and we were going, full power. Yes, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. By next week, we're gonna have that and that and that and that. And then I had some personal stuff, and frankly, I kind of just like was completely taken away from that project. And I'm usually very I deliver, I deliver everything usually before time and especially on time. Um, and I did not. I just kind of like let life take me away, and I came back next week and I said, sorry, I couldn't get that done. Let's hope this week. And I came back the week after and I said, sorry, not yet. And at some point, the people gave up and the project did not happen.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Thank you for being so candid. And when you had to say, sorry, I can't do it this week, how did you feel?
Awful. Like, you don't
Okay.
even deserve to say it. Like, everybody has a life, everybody has issues. Like, how can you come up out of, like, especially if you work on a project with multiple people, everybody is putting things away to make this project happen. And, like, you're the person who's making it not happen. Um, so it was awful.
Well, I'm very happy that you're very candid because we can see the relationship between communication and what it is that we're doing. So we're not here to learn or rehearse any words. We are here to up our game, and then our communication follows. And we want to learn how to deal with situations like you just had and how to build trust. Because if we don't, we would lose many bonds, right? And why am I talking about trust? So, trust is the fundamental for bonding and for business. And what does trust mean in business? It means that when things are going to go south, not if, when things are going to go south, you're going to put the other's interest first before yours. And this is the fundamental of business. And in fact, we pay a lot more money when we trust a business. Let's take an example that we're all familiar with. Let's take an example of FedEx. They build their entire business promising us that no matter what, they have an overnight delivery.
Right.
And we pay a premium price for that overnight delivery. What happens if they don't deliver that? What happens if they say, oh, I'm sorry. We had a problem with the engine. We had a problem with the strike. I'm so sorry. They would have no business, right? So no
Yes.
matter what, they build their business around the trust that we give them to deliver that package. Let's take another example that we're all familiar with. Amazon, right? Amazon, we trust that that package will arrive when it says it will. We trust Amazon with the products because we know that if something is south, I can just ship it back,
Right.
right? And we pay premium price for that. And Amazon actually puts the trust of its customers first. So Amazon says, when you bring that package back, if you don't like it, we refund you the money before we even get that package back. So these are the fundamentals that create trust and create prospering businesses because trust is everything. And how do we incorporate it into small talk? Or better yet, why do we want to incorporate it into small talk? Because everything is macro and micro. Why do we do small talk? to bond. Why do we want to bond? Because we want to do business. If we want to do business, we have to have trust. So why not start it right from the beginning? Right?
Right.
So we want our behavior to be aligned with what we say. Right? So, ready for the challenge?
Yes.
Let's see how we build trust from the beginning. So, the first part of building trust is to say the hard truth directly when it is most inconvenient. Okay, that's the first part of building trust. So, here's an example. I'll start with a soft example, and of course, we'll push it. Okay, so I had this meeting once with a teacher. He's a doctor. And it was a Zoom meeting. And I logged in and I was waiting for 20 minutes for him to show up. And he's this mega doctor and everything. And after 20 minutes, he comes in. And the first thing that I say, "Hi, Eric, is everything okay?" Because I was also calling and there was no answer. And the first thing you're worried if something happened. And he looked at me through Zoom and he says, "I'm so sorry. This was such an idiot mistake and it got worse." And I said, "What happened?" Said, "I was in my office expecting to see you. And I completely forgot that it's on Zoom. And then I turned around to my computer to email you something because it's been 20 minutes and I see that you're waiting." Okay.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I'm cringing just hearing this. I
Yeah.
feel so bad for the guy.
Yeah. So, and, and he said it with such authenticity and better yet, so much of humility that you cannot help it but laugh. Right?
Right.
Right? Because it's so human. It's just so human to do it. Like our minds wonder sometimes, right? And he said, "Let's see if we can make up those 20 minutes. We'll finish what we have for today, you know." But I was just laughing, right? He could have easily said any other excuse, right? But he chose not to. And that humility in that authenticity is what wins because we understand that we're all human no matter how many titles you have. So here is a situation for you. Let's see how we apply the first rule of building trust in the following situation. You are up for review at your annual meeting or review, and it is with your boss's boss, and it would have a direct impact on your career going forward. This is one of those very, very important meetings, and you haven't slept all night. You're very nervous slash excited, and it's 8 o'clock in the morning, the time for your meeting. And let's say that it's face to face, okay, tete a tete. So you come into the office and your boss's boss asks you, "How are you?" What do you say? And we want to apply all the rules, including the new one.
I would probably say I am nervous and excited at the same level.
Okay, good. And I would ask you, why are you nervous and excited?
Because I feel like we can do really big things, and I hope I will get to be the one doing them with you.
Okay, so let's analyze this conversation because this was small talk, right? So we want to keep it small. We want to keep it authentic. We want to build trust. We want to be a giver, all the rules up until now. So if your boss's boss asks you, "How are you?" you can say nervous and excited, or you can say what you feel at that moment, which is one word, nervous, right? And when you say that one word that you're nervous or you're excited, or excited is a general word, so this is why I'm
Mm.
sticking to nervous. When you're saying you're nervous, how do you feel when you say it?
Vulnerable. It's kind of like you have to trust that whoever you tell that to is not gonna use that against you. So there is vulnerability there.
Okay, good. That's very good to be vulnerable because it's the truth. And you said you're nervous. And if there is a human being on the other side, they would probably say, okay, let's come down. Let's begin, right? Or why are you nervous? Or they would understand that you're nervous. So we first of all, when we say the hard truth at the very inconvenient time, we actually help clear the air. Okay, this is the situation. And when we say this is what this is, we calm, we calm the situation, if that makes sense,
Mm.
right? And we let the other people respond. And 90% of people, probably 99% of people, wouldn't use it against you. And if they did, okay, we'll deal with that. Okay. All right. So let's continue with that situation. Let's say you didn't sleep all night and you went to get some coffee at your local coffee shop. And let's say you had one shot of espresso too many.
Mm.
And your hands start shaking, you start speaking too fast. And it's 8 o'clock in the morning and you're about to enter to see your boss's boss and you're like all over the place. I say, how are you? What do you say?
I have had one shot of espresso too many, so too energetic, potentially.
Okay, good. This is exactly what we want to say, especially if the meeting has very like serious tones. You say, I'm nervous. I had one too many of these espresso shots. I don't know if it was a smart idea, but so forgive me if I blur something. So
Yeah,
that makes the situation much calmer, much softer,
right.
right? Than say, how are you? Good. I'm good. Okay. How are you? It clears the air. It makes it softer. And if we can turn it into something very funny, that would be better. So I'll give you another situation. You have a presentation for a board meeting. And it's an idea you've been working on for a few months with your team. You have a POC. And as you're about to enter that board meeting, you're the team leader. You worked on that presentation for a very long time. The night before, your team lets you know that the demo is down, something happened, servers are down. It's not going to be ready. You have nothing to present to the board. Okay. And you tried to work on it all night. 5 minutes before you entered, the team says, we're sorry, we need more time. We can't. You can't present anything. And this is your quarterly big shot presentation. You enter the room. The board says, hi, Ruthie, how are you? Your turn.
I was better yesterday when I was hoping I could come in with my regular presentation at the level that I like to deliver. But technology being technology, sometimes it breaks, and sometimes it breaks so bad, and that our entire team could not get it up the entire night until right now they told me that we cannot get it up. So instead, today, I'm going to talk a lot about this and show you everything I can besides showing you how it works. And then we're going to compensate by sending you a full walkthrough of it when it works as soon as we get it going, hopefully today, um, and then go on.
Okay, good. Okay. This was very
I
good.
can't believe I did that. Hold on, I have to say that because this is like, as you described this, it was the most stressful situation in my own head, like without even actually being in the room. And it's just, I applied your technique and it's just kind of And you said good. And he was like, yeah, that was a good way to handle it. And it popped into my brain in like 30 seconds. So yeah, I just wanted to say it's amazing. Thank you. Go on.
Sure. So we want to say it, okay? We want to say the hard truth because this is what it is. There is no reason to go fluff around it. Nothing that we're going to say is going to pamper it with anything beautiful, right? So we want to learn how to say it. So here is the sub rule to the rule that I said. And the idea is not to make a big deal out of it and move to what it is they are getting. So this is where you gave a very good answer. You said technology being technology, something broke, but I'm going to use your time today to give you this and this and this information, right? Because everybody knows that stuff breaks all the time. We have seen live how Microsoft launched something and it didn't work. And I think that one time it happened with Elon Musk, right? So we all know this happens. Is it an excuse? No. But we don't make a big deal out of it. We move on very quickly because the point that we want to make is that we're not going to waste your time, right? It
Yeah.
happens. It's okay, but we're not going to waste your time. But this is the hard truth. And if you want, you can name something specific or not, right? You can say, yes, technology happened. We'll fix it. We'll send it to you. Don't make a big deal of it. Let's focus on what I can give you right now. So having said that, it's not easy to say these things, especially not in a board meeting. But when you don't focus on explaining in detail what happened, that means that you're not whining because nobody cares. There was a
Mhm.
strike. The airplane couldn't lift off. There was a bird in the wing. Nobody cares. It
This
just
is a
didn't
big one.
happen.
This is a real I fail with this all the time because I like feel sometimes that I have to explain why it failed and like I have to produce the full explanation so everybody understands fully and like understand that it's a thing. And no one wants this. And I could see
No,
that in people's eyes, like, just shut up, like, I don't care. Like, just and my brain's like, but I have to explain. And it's just, yeah, it's a big
no,
one.
nope. Nobody cares. The end game was that it's not there. Always remember FedEx. Would you care if they had a strike? Would you care if something no, you pay a premium price. You don't
That's true.
care.
That's
Okay?
actually a really good example, because like Amazon sometimes have it when they have to delay something because they got lost, because weather, because whatever. They don't never tell you why. They just tell you, we're so sorry. This is now delayed, and it tells you right away, expect it on the new delivery time. And that's it. And as much as I'm upset, I have a new delivery time to wait for, which is kind of like, okay, now I have a new time frame. So yeah.
Right? Because the more you get into an explanation, the more you're making excuses.
Yes.
Nobody cares. Okay? So so we say it. And this is why you said it beautifully. Technology happens. If you want to go specific, you can say the servers happened, whatever it is. So we see that sometimes we want to work that inconvenient muscle very much because it makes us communicate better. It helps
Mm,
us say things as they are and face the consequences, right? So, what we want to do for today is to take this week and see when you're going to encounter situations that you could have easily avoid, easily say something else, and say, no, I'm going to take this and I'm going to say the hard truth as it is and see what I'm going to do about this and see what happens.
I accept.
Okay, this is our task for this week because next week for part two, we're going to see how we're going to up this game. Okay, so until next week.